Barbarik was the son of Ghatotkach and the grandson of Bheem. It is said that he was so powerful that according to him, the war of Mahabharat could end in 1 minute if he alone was to fight it. Having learned the art of warfare from his mother, he was awarded with 3 powerful arrows by Lord Shiva, who was pleased with his tapasya. The first arrow was supposed to mark all the objects that he wanted to be destroyed. The second arrow was supposed to mark all the objects that he wanted to be saved. The third arrow was supposed to destroy all the objects marked by the first arrow, or destroy the ones not marked by the second arrow. At the end, all the arrows would return to the quiver. He was bound by the promise he made to his mother to always fight for the weaker side. Having heard of Barbareek and wanting to examine his powers, Lord Krishna went on to meet him and requested a demonstration of his arrows. Krishna asked him to display his powers on a tree. He asked him to treat each leaf of the tree as an enemy and make a hole through them. As Barbarik started meditating to perform the task, Krishna took one leaf from the tree and placed it under his foot without Barbarik's knowledge. When Barbarik released the first arrow, the arrow marks all the leaves of that tree and eventually starts revolving around Lord Krishna's feet. Krishna asks Barbarik as to why the arrow was doing that. To this, Barbarik replied that there must be a leaf under his feet and asks him to lift his leg. As soon as Lord Krishna lifts his leg, the arrow goes ahead and marks the remaining leaf. This incident scares Lord Krishna about the phenomenal power of Barbarik. He concludes that the arrows were truly infallible. Krishna also realizes that, in the real battlefield, in case he wants to isolate someone from Barbarik's attack, then he would not be able to do so, because even without Barbarik's knowledge, the arrow would go ahead and destroy the target if he intended so. Krishna asks Barbarik about which side he was planning to fight for in the war of Mahabharat. Barbarik explains that since the Kaurav army was bigger than that of Pandavas, and because of the promise he made to his mother that he would fight for weaker side, he would fight for the Pandavas. To this, Lord Krishna explains him the paradox of the condition he had agreed with his mother. Krishna explains that since he was the greatest warrior on the battlefield, whichever side he joins would make the other side weaker. So eventually, he would end up oscillating between the two sides and destroy everyone except himself. Thus, Krishna reveals the actual consequence of the word that he had given to his mother. To avoid his involvement in the war, Krishna asks him for his head in charity. Before actually giving his head, Barbarik expresses his desire to view the forthcoming battle. To this, Krishna agrees to place Barbarik's head on top of a mountain that overlooked the battlefield. At the end of the war, the Pandavas argued amongst themselves that whose was the greatest contribution to their victory. To this, Krishna suggests that Barbarik's head should be allowed to judge this, since it watched the entire war. Barbarik's head suggests that it was Krishna alone who was responsible for the victory in the war. His advice, his strategy, and his presence all were crucial in the victory. Barbarik sacrificed before the Mahabharata war ensured the victory of his grandfathers, the Pandavas. In return for his sacrifice, Barbarik was deified by a boon given by Krishna. Today, Barbarik is worshipped in Rajasthan as Khatu Shyam ji, and in Gujarat, he is worshipped as Baliyadev.